Hello, I'm Ragnarok, and welcome to The Reckoning. So, we've recently had the Age of Calamitous add a new system and mechanic into the game, and that would be the profession system. So, we now have an economy system added to the game, and in today's video, we're going to go over how to get it, how it works, some of the core mechanics. We'll go into details in some of the areas, and some of the benefits and items you get from each of the professions. So, without further ado, let's do it. Okay, so first things first is we are here at the Age of Calamitous Faction Hall. It's right here on the map. Well, technically, it's right here on the map. This is the underground area you are. But if you're not sure where it is, check out our Age of Calamitous Beginner Guide. We show you how to get here and stuff like that. A few new changes to the Faction Hall, at least at the time of making this video. We have the Honor and Loyalty vendors are now in the Faction Hall, so no need to ask where those are. We also have the Vanity Station added, so you don't have to wait until later game in order to change your appearance. You can now come here and do that as you unlock certain appearances and stuff like that. And we have this area over here, which is the profession room or platform or whatever. So anyways, we have 5 professions: the Forestry Guild, Moonshiners, Farmers, Miners, and Hunters. And then we have this guy right here, Guild Vendor. We'll go over what he does later. All right, so professions can work pretty much the same way as factions do. You can come here right off the bat, early game. You can pick one as long... You can pick a faction, and then you can also pick a profession, or vice versa. You can only pick one of them. You do get a warning message when you talk to them. I think, yeah, I'm already a profession, so it won't let me do it. But when you talk to them, it gives you the same warning the factions do. You can only pick one. You can't change it. You can't lose a profession. You can't learn another profession. The only way to change your profession is to recreate your character. Now, I'll show you in a few minutes a way that if you're an admin of a server, or if you're playing single player in your admin mode, you can give yourself multiple professions or all the professions. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, these are your 5 professions. Okay, so let's go over some of the ways I mentioned how if you're an admin or an admin of a server, how you can actually get yourself multiple professions. So first things first, we're here in the cheat panel. This is your admin panel, stuff like that. It may look different. I have the Pippi mod, so I have more tabs. But right here, if we type in the word unlock and hit other, in the other tab, unlock, you can give any player this item. You can make it part of a Pippi kit. You can make it something that a thespian gives you after a certain quest line. If the player uses this will unlock all 5 professions. Now, there's another way you can do this. Let's just say maybe you only want players in your server to learn 1 additional profession, or maybe 2 additional professions. You can type in gold token, and as with all the other gold tokens that you can give for all the factions and sub-factions, which we have a video, I believe it was the Learn All Factions setup series. We kind of went over how on my server I allow people to learn all the factions after doing a quest. Well, right down here, we have gold tokens for each of the 5 professions. So again, you can set these up as kits. You can set it up as a thespian, and you give one of these, the player uses it, and they learn that profession. So let's just say I'm already Moonshiners Guild, and I did a quest to do the Hunters, join the Hunters Guild. As a reward, I get the gold token. I use it. Now I'm both these items. So that's how you can give multiple professions. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at is the professions themselves. We're going to take a look at a little bit of an overview of all the professions, and then we'll go into detail on how the mechanics work, and then we'll look at all the professions in depth. So when you learn a profession, they'll be here in your decoration tab. Normally you only have 1 profession, and you only have the first area unlocked. So if I chose farmers, I'll only have this green. These will all be yellow or red. Red and then yellow once you levels. All the professions have some similarities. So I'll go over that first. So all the professions have 5 tiers. You learn 1 right off the bat. The next one you learn at 30, then 50, level 70, and level 100 would be max level. So that's the exact same for all the professions, the leveling requirements. So all the professions come with a couple things. The first thing they come with is a station unique to the profession that will generate resources once certain criteria is made. So for example, for the Farmers Guild, it is the cooking stove. For the Moonshiners Guild, it is the distillery. That is a station. Most of them are handcrafted, and like I said, it will generate resources after certain criteria. All the professions have crates they can make. They range from tier 1 and then all the way up to tier 9. They're basically different level of crates, and we'll talk about crates in a minute. And they all have tier 1 through tier 9. All the professions have resources that you'll learn how to make or generate or whatever that you'll use to or help you make the crates. Then some of the professions, not all of them, do give you access, or some of them give you early access to stations that are already in the game. For example, the Moonshiners Guild, right off the bat when you learn at level 10, you get access to the Beehive. The Beehive is a vanilla station, so it's not unique to this profession, but if you didn't join the Moonshiners Guild, let's just say you joined the Farmers Guild, you wouldn't be able to get the Beehive until level 33. So there are a couple of professions that actually do that. They give you early access to stations you can still get if you don't choose it, but you just get earlier access, which could help in some instances. Some of these professions, some of the stations you get are actually pretty cool to get very early game. Next is the every profession gives you a pet at level 70, and all the pets will be unique to every profession. So, for example, the Moonshiners Guild, we get the Ancient Rhino. And then last two things is every profession gives you a skin for that pet, at least one. Most of, or all but one of them, you actually unlock at level 100. And then every profession has a unique harvesting tool that you will get. So, for example, again, Moonshiners Guild, we have an enhanced Cranixium Sickle. There is a Cranixium Sickle that you can get otherwise. This is an enhanced version. It's slightly better, and we'll go over that when we go over the Moonshiners Guild. Okay, now we're going to go over crates, what they are and stuff like that, how they function. We're also going to go over a little bit of how the resource generation function works for the unique stations to the professions. And then later, we'll go over in depth of the professions. So, first things first, stations. How do they passively generate? So there's two criteria that need to be made. So if I make this station right here, this is the Hunter's Tannery. You get this when you're to the Hunter's Guild. If I leave it alone, it doesn't do anything. That goes the same for the mine. The mine used to, you just make it, let it sit, and eventually it passively generates resources. That is no longer the case. Now, if you let this just sit forever and ever and ever, it doesn't do anything. If I put a thrall in there, it still doesn't do anything. What you need to do is you need to put a thrall, and then you need to pay that thrall. Yep, we have to pay our thralls now, so they're no longer our, free labor force. But for every profession, there has now been made a unique thrall for that profession. For example, the Hunters Guild, you have to have a skinner. That's going to go inside your Hunter's Tannery. For the mines, that would be a miner, and so forth and so forth. We'll go over them each as we go over the professions. So, and there is one for every faction. So, for example, the Vanderbilt Skinner, there's a Stormhold Skinner, a Cold Embrace Skinner, a Felgarth, so on, so on. So there is a Skinner. You'll find them in the camps. I've seen them in the easy camps as well as the raid camps and even randomly throughout the world and stuff like that. So you will find them anywhere. It doesn't matter what faction you are. You can have any of the factions in here. If I'm Stormhold, I can have a Stormhold Skinner in here or whatever. But essentially what you need to do is you need to put a profession thrall in here, then you need to put currency in there to pay them. The currency you're using is not the vanilla currency, it's not Pippi currency, it is the Age of Calamitous coins. Okay, and as far as the coin system, and I was trying to make one note before we go into the coin system. As with any new mechanic in Age of Calamitous or in Conan in general, things are always being balanced over time. I mean, Magic's been out for over a year now, and Magic's still being balanced. Even in the core vanilla game, things like thralls, crafting, weapons damage, and combat, that's been, the game's been out for 3 years or 4 years now, and that's still being balanced. So things are being balanced over time. So don't concentrate too much on, if you're watching this 6 months down the road and you put a silver coin in here, and I say it gets however many, like we'll say 10 hours, and you're getting 15 hours, don't be like, well, the video's wrong. It's, the numbers are being balanced. Anytime a core mechanics change, I usually do some kind of update eventually once I know that's settled down. Maybe in the future we will do a video once the balance is more stabilized. We'll do a video on like cost, but for cost, which crates are better, which professions make more money over time and stuff like that. But a lot of these numbers are probably going to change. What's auto-generated in here, how much ingredients take to make the crates and stuff like that. So don't focus too much on the numbers, but this will give you a general gist, at least how it is right now, and then kind of how it will probably be in the future as far as the mechanic. But let's take a quick look at price or how these fuels work. So 10 coins obviously mean your most abundant coin that you're going to get. You can get them by killing certain bosses and AoC faction thralls and stuff like that. You can't get them from skinning thralls anymore, but if you kill certain tiers and stuff like that, they'll drop a little bundle that you can use and you'll get coins from it. There's a couple other ways you can get coins. We'll go over that a little later in the video. But we're going to put one 10 coin in there. We're going to hit play, and let's see how long it takes. So it looks like you get 1 minute for one tin coin. Now, the rates I'm on, the server I'm on, are vanilla rates. They're all one times. So they're standard vanilla rates, crafting, burn time, all that fun stuff. So this is, if you plan a server right now as the same day I make this video, these are the rates you're looking at. 1 minute for one tin coin. Copper, we are looking at, what was that, 50 minutes? Silver, 20 hours in 50 minutes, so 21 hours. And gold, which you'll never put in these stations unless you're really, really rich in your end game, you've been playing the game for months, 208 hours for one gold coin. So you can pretty much put in one gold coin and you'll be good for a while. Okay, and the next thing I want to go over real quick before we really go into anything else is the crates themselves. So, crates. Basically, these are items you're going to make from resources you either gather, craft, or you possibly your station auto-generates. For example, my tier 1 crate, I need 30 fish, 25 these, 25 this, oysters and crabs. And again, these numbers can change and what's needed can change over time. But as you can look, as you go up, the items get harder. Look, this one looks like it takes heads and stuff. And then you have your legendary ones. Now, what this does is these crates will do a couple different things. The main thing they're going to do is they're going to give you more money when you sell them. So the reason to craft these is to basically sell them. You're going to get Age of Calamitous coins, which in turn can be put back into your stations to generate resources if you need them, or you can use them to buy things from the markets, the Age of Calamitous market vendors, and a couple other things that have been added in Age of Calamitous. Okay, now you ask, what do I do with the crates when I get them? How do I get money? Well, there are two ways. There's one way that's easy, but it's long and very slow of a process, and there's another way that's a little bit more complicated, and it can also be time consuming depending on where your base is and stuff like that. But let's see, the two things is you're going to sell, well, regardless, you're going to sell your crates at a market. Now, there are two different types of markets. The first one is the one in front of me, which if you go to your feats, you go to your survival tab right here, you have your currency exchange, this very first one. At the bottom, market trading. It's craft install. You craft this at a dispatch contractor. Dispatch contractors used to be handcrafted once you pick the faction. Now they are sold. They're actually pretty expensive to get, but every faction has a dispatch contractor inside of its sub-faction hall. So if you go to the Stormhold sub-faction hall, there is a dispatch contractor in there you can use. You can use them for free. So you don't have to craft your one. You just have to pay, I think it's like a gold or two or something like that. So it's pretty expensive to craft those. You can craft those late game, but it's a luxury. So you can use the one at the faction hall. It just requires you to go back to faction hall to get that. Either way, craft this thing inside the dispatch contractor, come back to your base, place it down, and wow, you have somewhere you can sell your crates. If we go into it, we can sell our crates. Now, there's a difference between this one and the stationary markets. So the way you can tell is, first of all, you can't craft the other ones. They do look exactly the same. So the modeling, if you're in admin mode and you admin in the market trader, they're actually the same name, and they actually look the same when you place them down. The difference is when you go into it, right here at the bottom right, there's only one box, and it says packages shipped to market. Whereas the other ones, I believe, say packages sold. We'll see in a minute. Either way, this is the main difference. So the one you can craft and put at your base, what it does is you put a crate in here. Let me grab a crate, actually. You put it in here, and you find the crate you just selected, which I think it's this. No, it's this one right here. As you can see, it's there. It says I can craft one. You hit craft. Now, as you can see, I already have one down here that I set crafting a little while ago. So if I hit craft now, it says unable to craft, queue is full. So here's the main difference. The main difference is you can only do one at a time. And what this does is this ships it to one of the two marketplaces. So basically what it does is it convoys it for you. This takes a considerable amount of time. This has already been running. This is the actual tier 1 cargo of beverages. So it's the least one. And this has already been running for about 20-25 minutes. And as you can see, it's probably a third of the way there. Last time I did a legendary crate. I did one of these. I did a couple of legendary crates. They took about a little over an hour. Maybe it was exactly an hour, but it was pretty close otherwise. So my guess is, through my testing, it seemed like they all pretty much take the same amount of time. That may not be the case. I haven't tested them all because there's obviously a lot of them, and if they all took an hour, this would take me like days and weeks. So let me know in the comment section below if you find one that goes a lot quicker. But from the ones I have tested, they take about an hour to go. You can only do one at a time. So that's the difference. Whereas the other one, which we're about to show you, you can do multiples. You can do as many as you want, and it's super fast. So let's go check that out. Okay, so here we're at one of the two locations. I'll show you on the map real quick where we are. I believe we're in N7, and we're right here at the pirate ship, whatever, Buccaneer Bay, and we're right where that bridge is. As you can see, there's that little bridge that goes to the pirate ship. We all know where this is. And now we go into his inventory, and as you can see, it says items being sold. So it's a lot different. Now, like I said, any crate with the other guy took about an hour. So let's just take, this is a tier 1 crate, just like the other one. Let's find it. And it is right there. Craft it, and as you can see, couple seconds, and we got one of these things. So let's put that right here. Let's do the crate of accessible moonshine. Let's see, where is it? Right there. Craft. Right there. Let's just do them all. There you go. And as you can see, we got different things per, and I'll show you, I did a test of 20 legendary crates. It's pretty much RNG. There's a set limit of what the crates can give you. Legendary crates are going to give you a better chance of getting the bigger stacks or the legendary stacks, but you'll still get these small stacks and stuff like that. You might only get 2 of them, or you might get 5 of them or whatever. So the amounts you get overall, after doing a lot of crates, you're going to get considerable more money for your tier 9 over your tier 1, but you can still get small piles like this for a legendary crate. I don't think I've gotten a small pile of 1. I'll show you one of the tests I did with 20 of them, but this will give you a good idea what you'll get from this. So before we take a look at what that is, let's go check a look at the other vendor. Okay, and here's the other market trader right here. We are here at Seppermaru. The easiest way to remember where it is, it's this little curve right underneath. If you look at this little bridge right here, if you draw straight down, it's pretty much in that general area where the curve is. Or you can say the little curve at after the main symbol for the city of Seppermaru. Follow it around, it's right there. So that gives you a little gist. This is B7, if you're not familiar with Seppermaru. Either way, here he is. Same guy, same items. Doesn't matter which one you go to, you get the same amount. Also, at least for my testing, it looks like you get the same amount or same RNG of coins if you come here directly with the items, or if you ship it via the slow method from your base. Now, the difference again is you bring them here, you can sell a bunch at once really, really fast. From your base, you ship them, you know, go play the game, come back, and it's done, but you can only do one at a time. Now, the reason that seems, you're like, oh, why don't I just take 100 of these crates? Well, the reason is because these crates weigh a lot. Okay, so we're back here, and if you want to take a look, so I have 2 crates right here. If I click on one, weight 300. If I click on a legendary one, weight 300. So they are heavy. Unless you have full encumbrance, you are probably not going to be able to transport a lot of these crates. So this is where you're going to want to invest in. If you want to go that method, like I said, it is faster, but you're going to need something to move those crates back and forth. So obviously a thrall at minimum, or a pet with a lot of room to actually carry something because they don't become encumbered. That will do you pretty fine. So that method is, but then again, you would have to run all the way to the marketplace with all the crates. If you're on a PvP server, it's going to be a little bit more problematic because if you die, guess what? You lost a bunch of money. So now that we explained that, let's look at what these stacks do. So if I click on the stack and I hit use, you're going to get an RG amount of coins and maybe something else. So you're not always going to get 41 from that one stack. You might get a little bit more. Let's look at this too. We got another, like, looks like 50 or 60, but we also got 2 guild tokens. So let me put this in here. We got 62 and 3 guild tokens. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's just use all 3 of these. 174, but we didn't get any guild tokens. And this big stack, we got 106 guild tokens. So, again, it's RNG what you're going to get from those stacks. You're not always going to get the same amount, but again, certain stacks, like these legendary ones, are going to have a chance to give you a lot more than like these non-legendary ones. Same with these stacks, the red ones, there's blue and all the different colors and stuff like that. So, as you can see here, I did a bunch of different, I actually did, each one of these stacks was a legendary lumber or forestry box. I did 19 of them. I actually did 20 of them, but I already demonstrated earlier with one of the coins. But either way, this is what I got each time I sold the box. So as you can see, I got 1 legendary, I got a couple of these, and then I got a bunch of the regular ones. So it's hit or miss. I've done the stack of 20, and I got a bunch of the legendary stacks. Again, it's just RNG, so you may get lucky sometimes, other times you may not. Okay, and last but not least, for the mechanics portion of this is the guild vendor. Now, you saw that we got tin coins, and then we got also guild tokens. The guild tokens are what you're going to use as you unlock things to craft the unique tools to each of the professions, as well as the pets, their skin, and their skins, or cosmetics. So that's what you're going to come. If, like you said, you come here, you want to get your pet for this profession, 350 guild tokens. You want to get this, you're actually going to need a cleaver, some bars. So you might need some more mats than just the tokens. But as you can see, you just get some tokens. And even the pets range from different things depending on the pet itself. The token, at least the weapons or tools at this time, seem like they all the same. But again, these things may change over time. So the cost, don't focus too much on what they cost, because I can guarantee you'll probably change. Okay, so you may now say, hey, well, okay, this is all good and well. Now I know how market trading works and the economy system works. But how... or what do they have each profession? So let's take a look at it. Now we're going to go into see what you can get when you choose each of the professions. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be the Moonshiners Guild. So Moonshiners Guild, we have a distillery. That's your unique station. You have your crates. You actually can craft or generate drinks. You get a beehive early. More crates, more drinks. Nothing special there. More crates there. Nothing special there. You get early access to a waiter, which you crafted your dispatch contractor. Again, those are in the faction halls. Your pet is going to be a rhino. You're going to get sickle for your harvesting tool. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stuff. First things first, let's take a look at the beehive. Beehive's a vanilla station. Nothing changed. It passively generates honey over time. Obviously, you put bees and stuff like that in there. It'll change how much it does. But that's a vanilla station. Nothing's changed about that, at least mod-wise. The waiter you get access to, this is going to let you buy consumables for 10 coins. Currently, there's not much in there for consumables. These consumables really aren't anything special. I mean, they are pretty cheap. Actually, 8 tins probably pretty expensive for what it gives you. But again, I'm sure at some point this will be balanced and there might be more interesting things put in there. Who knows? We'll see. But for right now, that's what you get. Okay, so at least for the distillery, pretty cool station. I have a thrall in there, which is going to be your brewer. When you passively generate, you're going to generate the first couple tiers of drinks. And the cool thing about this station is actually the drinks that it auto-generates are actually all the drinks you need to make the tier 1 crate. As you go up, they're obviously, that's not going to be the case. You have to actually craft these. But some of these are going to be used as ingredients. So good to know that you can actually at least passively generate some coins from this. I wouldn't mind, I should do some testing to see if how much money you average get from the crates equals the amount of coin it takes to auto or passively generate the same stuff. So that'd be interesting test to do. Maybe I'll do that at a later date. But anyways, this is what you get. All right, as far as your pet, here we go. This is your ancient rhino. This is actually wearing the skin, which is the scourge skin. I'm gonna take it off real quick. This is what the pet looks like when you first get it. Pretty cool. Definitely love the design. It is scary as hell. It is beefy, and it can probably carry a lot of stuff, as you can see from its inventory. Put the skin back in it, and there you go. The scourge skin. That is sick. Yeah, I like that. Let's take a look at its stats real quick. I did max level to level 20 for 15,000 HP pretty much. Again, leveling is always RNG, so your numbers may not match. And for them, we're going to take a look at their sickle. So this is the regular Cranixium sickle that you get just through normal gameplay. And this is the enhanced one that you get. As you see, the model is a little different on it. Looks a little cooler. And let's take a look at the rates you're going to get. Again, all my rates are vanilla, so this is what you should see vanilla. So we're getting about 25 per swipe. I think it can crit at 26. Yep, there's a crit at 26. So we're getting about 25 per swipe, 26, or per swipe. And now we're getting 29 crit, 28 regular. So, it went up a couple points. What is that? 3 points per for the regular and 3 points for the crit. Okay, next, we're going to look at the Hunters Guild. Let's take a look at the feats that we get. So Hunters Guild right here. So you're going to get early access to the crab trap and fishing stand. You're going to get your unique station, which is the Hunter's Tannery. They're going to generate fish, and you get some crates. Again, crates at that level, crates at that level. Your pet is going to be a hunter's dog, and the tool you're going to get is going to be the Cranixium knife. Let's take a look. So your crab trap does not take a thrall. It doesn't really do anything as far as thrall wise. It's just going to generate your stuff. Then you have your fishing stand. This one is where your thrall is going to go into, and as you can see, if you pay it, you're going to generate all the different types of fish and crab and stuff like that. As you can see, there's a lot of different types in here. Okay, and the other unique station is going to be the Hunter's Tannery. This is, oh, actually, I should have mentioned the fish station is actually going to take a fisherman. So that is one profession that you get. Again, every faction has a fisherman. So just make sure you make note of that. Whereas the tannery will take a skinner. So you'll have to find a faction skinner. Again, all 6 factions have a skinner. So you just need to find them. And this is also where you're going to make your crates. I don't believe, did we just, yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't remember if the fishing stand made the crates or not also. So this is going to make your crates. As you can see, some of them take the fish, which these auto-generate from that station. This one takes meat. And as you can see, this you can actually get some heads, trophies, and stuff like that. More meat, hides, heads. So you're looking at more of different stuff you're obviously going to get from hunting. As far as passively generating, it looks like you get the thick hide, the thin hide, or the thin hide and thick hide, and the blood from generations. As far as pet, here's the hunter's dog. Looks pretty cool. I like the model on the dog. The skin is going to be your dog's dark skin. Again, that's way better. I like the skin. The skins, I'd probably say almost on every single one of these, the skin's way better than just the vanilla way. But either way, they all look really cool. Let's take a look at stats real quick. Max level, 18,000. A lot better HP, but again, everything's RNG. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the skinning knife that you get. Here's the regular vanilla Cranixium one, or not vanilla, but the Age of Calamitous Cranixium one, and here's the enhanced version. Pretty cool. It's got a nice little yellow glow on it. Let's take a look at the skinning knife and what we get from... Looks like we're getting 26, 25 as far as hides, 26 again. And let's switch over to the enhanced one. And we're getting 28, 29 roughly per swipe. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the Farmers Guild. So let's take a look at what we get. So with the Farmers Guild, you get access to all the corrals. And their cooking stove is going to be their generation station. Obviously, they're going to make some food. More corrals. You actually get access to the farms, both wheat and corn, and the windmills, as well as the watermills. Your pet is going to be a night scavenger, which is a type of hyena. More corrals. And you're going to get a cleaver for your tool. All right. So this one has probably the most amount of stations that you're going to get, which means also it takes the most amount of thralls to fill. So we have our reptile pin, which is going to generate those resources. As you can see, your worker is going to be your farmer. This is going to be the same for every station is going to be a farmer. Here's what this one passively, or well, I'm going to call it passively generates, but generates over time. We got the Silkworm Pen. Obviously, you get the grubs and the silk, or the gossamer. You have your Watermill. Looks like bones, oil, ash. And again, your farmer. I clipped this into the ground, so obviously she's standing on the ground. Be careful when you're placing that one if you want to go for a more realistic look. This one, I believe, is probably bugged currently. It generates fiber and tar, but they keep replacing the previous. Sometimes it's a bunch of fiber and tar. So this one, I'm sure, is a bug. This will probably be hot fixed over time. But it seems like these are the only two things I've seen in here is tar and fiber. So that's probably what this only thing generates. But either way, make note of that. Then we have the Kuda Corral. Looks like just regular meat, the savory flesh or whatever, and the dung. And looks like bacon. Exquisite meat. It's bacon. Ostrich Farm, you get some eggs. Surprise. Feathers. Feathers are kind of nice to get from that. Rabbit Farm. Same, some meat and dung. Our other windmill. Again, just the fiber this time. Nothing else. I haven't seen anything else generate there. Corn Farm. Obviously, you're going to get corn. You're going to get the bugs, too, which are really nice. You're going to get wheat and bugs from this one. And from the cooking stove, you're going to get different types of meat. So you have feral flesh, or the feral feast, grilled steak. So these ones are edible foods, which are really, really nice. They're ready to eat and cooked as is. So this is kind of cool because you'll have food to feed yourself. As far as what the crates take to make, pretty much, as you can see, just meat or food products that you can make here. Some of these are edibles and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. As far as the pet, we have the Night Scavenger. There's the normal look. That is sick. See, this is one of the few ones that actually look really cool by itself. I mean, they all look cool by themselves, but this one I like. I actually like the skin without, or the model without the skin more, probably about the same. So here's what the skin looks like. It makes it look like a ghost, which is kind of cool because it looks like translucent. Really, really cool. Stat-wise, here's what your stats you're looking for. RNG base, obviously. Okay, next we have the Cleaver that you get from the Farmers Guild. Let's take a look at the Cranixium one first. This is the regular one you get through normal gameplay. Looks like we got 10. So we got 10 from that one. And we got 20 and 26. So you actually more than doubled in that instance what you got for resources. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is, I think it's the Woodworking Guilds. What is it? I forget the name of this one, actually. Forestry Guild. All right, so your unique station is going to be your lumber mill. This is actually a pretty good one. This one does make the tier 1's a little different. Instead of being a crate, it's a pile of lumber. Cool. After that, they turn into crates. Crates. Your unique profession or unique or pet is an elephant. And you're going to get a hatchet for your tool. Makes sense. Okay, so the only station you're getting is the lumber mill. And guess what? It passively generates, that's right, wood. So you're going to need a lumberjack. And as you can see, here's another example. I use the Shadarian lumberjack, which is one of the Elven Covenant ones. So again, they make one of the, at least one of these for every faction. In I think the elves instance, they actually have 2, but I could be wrong on that. I think there's one for the Shadarian and one from the other elves. I always forget the other faction. Now, the cool thing about this is if you look at the stuff it takes, again, it does passively generate what the tier 1 takes. So this is another one of those instances where you can literally just make money from it. And I definitely want to test to see the amount of money it takes to make a full stack of wood compared to how much money you get from the lumber and stuff like that. But from the higher ones, as you can see, you get more than what you would normally get. There's a lot of stuff you would get using a hatchet anyways from trees. It does take plants and stuff like that for some of the bundles. As you can see, plants and resources. More lotus, wood, more stuff, plants, and more plants. So AoC plants and stuff like that. All right, the pet you get is the Ancient Elephant. This thing is a beast. As you can see, my character is max height, by the way. I have max height as my character, so this thing is massive. Let's move away a little bit and get a nice little look. Pretty cool. Big elephant. Big, big, big. Let's put his skin on, which makes this... I would not run this guy without a skin because his skin is insane. Oops. Don't want to fight him. Oh, yeah. You got the, like, kelp hanging down or seaweed hanging down from his tusk and stuff like that. He's got that scourge skin look, the red eyes. That is mean. And he's massive. All right, stat-wise, here's what you're looking at stats. Again, everything's RNG based, so I didn't get any bonuses to his vitality, so he's got lower HP, but either way, here's the gist. And let's take a look at the 2 hatchets. So we have the Cranixium hatchet. We're getting 25, 25, 26 is your crit, which I'm pretty sure those 25 and 26 are pretty much unique, so we can probably guess what we're going to get here. Yep, we get 30, 30, 31 is your crit, so this is actually a little bit more of an increase compared to the other tools. Okay, and last but not least, the Miners Guild. So let's take a look at that one. Miners Guild down here. You're going to get access to the resource mines. This one's a big one. Resource mines have always been pretty good. I mean, overall, the amount of time you can spend on with a Cranixium pick grinding these resources, obviously it's nowhere in comparison. You're definitely going to get more from actually grinding the mats, but anything passively generated is always nice, right? So you're going to get access to the tier 1 mine right off the bat. Obviously, they're crate. You're going to more crates. You're going to access to tier 2 mine at level 50, as well as a minecart and railroad, which is decorations / storage. Your pet is going to be a gorilla, Grogan, and he's actually going to... This is the only pet to get 2 cosmetics, at least at this time. Who knows? Some of these pets might have more cosmetics over time, right? But you're going to get the first one right off the bat. Then you're going to get your legendary resource mine, as well as the unique tools and pick, and he also gets your pet also gets a backpack. All right, so let's take a look at some of the stuff. So the minecart, nice little storage thing too. You can actually store stuff in it, so that's kind of cool. You have a minecart rail, so at least for decoration, stuff like that, pretty cool. Your tier 1 through tier 3 mines are a little different. They're going to generate different resources, stuff like that. The one thing to make note of is your tier 3 mine, your legendary mine, does show on the map. So if you're playing on a PvP server and you put down a tier 3 mine, every player on the map is going to know where you are. So just make note of that. You know, if you're on a PvP server, if you don't have good adequate protection, don't make this. All right, so let's take a look. So tier 1 mine, you're going to need a cold embrace. You're going to need a miner. Doesn't matter if it's cold embrace or whatever. So I have a cold embrace one in here. Generating, you have coal, iron, and stone. Tier 2 mine is going to add a couple of AoC things to it. Silver, or actually, yeah, tin and copper. And then it also adds silver and brimstone. And your tier 3, I have a Felgarth miner in here. Pretty much adds almost everything. So you're going to get some gems, obviously not diamonds or amethyst, which you can actually craft at these stations for a certain amount of money. You can actually craft a couple of these. So these ones you can actually craft if you pay the mine. I have a gold in here right now. I could literally press craft and it would craft 1 titanium and take 1 of these gold away. So these items here you can craft in this station. These passively generate. So you have some things like quartz and aluminum added, cobalt, cobblestone. What else was added? Gold, I think, was added. No, that was in the other station. Chronix was added. So, and Aviary. So you have a couple of different things. This one obviously generates the most stuff. As far as the crates, let's take a look. So your tier 1 mine is going to generate everything you need for this one. Your tier 2 mine is going to generate everything you need for this one. Your tier 3 is definitely not generating star metal ore, so you're probably not going to be able to make that from that. Let's see. Again, not making that. Crystal's actually pretty easy to get, so you could probably make a tier 5 from auto-generating here. Again, I've let these run for like at least a couple hours, so I mean, maybe about an hour. We'll say an hour. So with the payment in there, so you're not getting a lot over the hour. And again, these rates could be changed over time. But that's all gems. These are bars you're going to have to craft, more bars you're going to have to craft, and even more bars you're going to have to craft. So, as you can see, these crates can be pretty expensive. As far as the pet, we have Grogon. Looks pretty cool. He's pretty massive. Let's take a look at his stats first, and then we'll take a look at his cosmetics. So, stat-wise, 18,000. Again, RNG-based. He did get a boost to Vitality. And let's put his helmet on him and his backpack. Backpack, pretty cool. It's the same. It's just a very much bigger version of the vanilla backpack you get on Bearer Thralls. And then my favorite part of him is he has that torch on his head. So the helmet looks kind of funny, but it's actually kind of cool too. But he lights up the area, which is awesome. Anything, you've probably heard me a billion of my videos. I love anything that lights up the area, any kind of aura of light, just because the game is naturally dark. And in some instances is really dark. So anything that lights up a surrounding area, and it actually lights up a pretty large radius. As you can kind of see how much the ground got lit up when I did that. That's pretty cool. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the picks. So we have the regular Chronicsium pick that you get just through normal gameplay. And we're getting about, what, 26, 25, 25. And with this one, the enhanced, 28. And I bet the crit's 29. And there's the crit, 29. Okay, so I just wanted to give some closing thoughts on the profession system. I actually really like it. I think it's a good step. It's another thing to do in the game. I mean, the game has always been what you make of it, right? I think moving these stations into unique professions gives a little bit more reason to play together with people. I know if you're a soloist and a completionist, you're probably mad because like now I can't have the lumber mill and the mine. But then again, if you're soloist and completionist, you're probably playing a single player anyways. Why would you play in a multiplayer server if you're not going to multiplay? But again, I understand because I usually play alone. I don't clan up with people a lot on multiplayer servers, less stuff like that. But again, it's just more to the game. It's more end game stuff. It's more stuff for you to get. Also, don't forget, even before the economy system was added, things like the mine, they never really did anything. You really only put down a mine because you just wanted to have a mine. They never generated resources. I mean, even before this change, I mean, this is probably like an hour, probably like 2 hours, maybe now we'll just say an hour for sake of argument. This is an hour, right? I can get all these resources in 10 minutes flat, no problem. And all these resources, but instead of just being like 80 or 100, I mean 1,000. I can get a stack of 1,000 with a Chronicsium pick in like a second, right? These stones, I could get hundreds and hundreds of these within like 2 minutes with a Chronicsium pick again. So the resources that these things have auto-generated, even the lumber mill, you can get what a lumber mill generates in an hour prior to this update, never mind after this update, in 2 minutes with a Chronicsium axe. So it's never really been one of those things where these stations were worth it, especially if you're on a PvE server and you have your harvest rates turned up. You're getting a lot more with a pick than you are going to auto-generate anyways. As far as like the coins, like I said, you can get Age of Calamitous coins from killing like Age of Calamitous higher tier thralls, or faction thralls. You can get them from bosses and stuff like that. You can't get them from skinning anymore, but again, you could probably say, oh, it sucks, I can't get them from skinning anymore, I can barely get coins. Well, what did you need coins for anyways? I mean, coins really didn't have a purpose. I mean, people made the markets and you can still make the markets now. It costs you a little bit more, but the stuff that these people sold, they really didn't. You didn't use them a lot. I mean, how many people used, 15 jade leopard statues? Probably not many, right? Hay bales and stuff like that. All this stuff is pretty cheap, anyways. Even the cosmetic clothing, I mean, maybe a couple sets. But again, you're still going to have a time to get them. The only thing I could probably see somewhat of an argument for is back when if you are a person that likes to get the weapons dealer here, the merchant, and you like to get some of these items, things like the Blade of Aquanius, the Devil's Fury and Great Devil's Fury and stuff like that. I can argue I know the Blade of Aquanius, this one right here. It's an amazing weapon. It's actually one of the best endgame weapons in the game for specific bosses like Wraith and stuff like that. So this thing's awesome. It costs a lot, but I mean, so it's something to work for, and then once you get it, what do you need the coins for, right? So a lot of times coins really didn't have a purpose. Now, you get your guild tokens now, and you can get these pets. But again, those are guild tokens, so even if you were still able to skin thralls for coins, the coins would do you no good when getting these pets. Other than you can argue, oh, hey, I can generate these stations. But again, you have two options. The stations really don't take that much to generate resources. It doesn't take that much coin. You're probably going to get more than enough coin when you're trying to capture these thralls anyways by killing the higher tier thralls and stuff like that, or faction thralls. And most PvE servers I know of have the burn time turned up pretty high anyways. Even PvP servers a lot of times have the burn time turned up on, and even the vanilla rates aren't that bad. So I like the Professionist system. I think it's a step in the right direction. It obviously needs a bunch of balancing, which it will get. They have an amazing team. If you have any suggestions or comments, constructive comments, join the official AoC Discord, hop into their mod suggestions room, and play some suggestions. Find glitches, post it in their bug room. Make suggestions. Don't just criticize the game, because criticizing doesn't do anything. If you say, I hate this, they're going to be like, okay, cool. Don't use the mod. If you have a suggestion of like, well, maybe get this from this, and it will generate this, and in turn, it's this benefit. If it makes sense, they'll move forward with it. It's a lot of the changes that have happened in Age of Calamitous, as well as Conan itself, have happened from the community making suggestions or saying this in a constructive way. If you just complain about it, oh well, complain. But again, I like it. I think it's good. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of it overall. Like I said, if you're a person that's like, I'm mad I can't get as many coins as I used to, let me know in the comment section below what you used to use coins for. If you put in there, I used to get the one sword and I like to get these 2 decorations. Okay, cool. You still can. It might take you, 20 minutes or an hour versus, 5 minutes. Wow. But, you only have to do it 3 times for the 3 items you want. But either way, let me know in the comment section below. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Definitely hit the subscribe button. As you can see, we've released 2 videos very shortly, are very close together. So we're going to be releasing, videos more often. I'm going to try to get into a better schedule now that the New Year is over and the holidays over and all that stuff. So we'll see if we can actually pop out some more videos. But again, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as those videos drop. Also, I just want to give a huge shout out to our Patreons and our elite Patreons. Thank you so much for everything you all do. You're all amazing. I appreciate you all sticking with me. If you're interested in becoming one of the Patrons and elite Patrons, check out the description or link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, fear the reckoning.